Welcome, 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 welcome in, y'all. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Y'all, come on, come on. Let me get my bell because y'all know I got to have my bell to ring. Y'all, come on in here. Come on in here. Look, I know it's Saturday. I know it is. Well, come on in here. Spend a little time with Miss J. Come on in here, my guest. Come on in here. Come on, come on. We got a serious topic we're going to talk about tonight. Part one and part two. Come on now. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in. And yes, I'm a little bit late because the devil was a lie. Yeah, y'all know I be y'all know I'm straight up with y'all. Yeah, devil try to be all crazy with my computer, y'all, but it's okay. I'm up in here. Come on, y'all. Come on, come on. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here. Yeah, y'all already know what this is about, right? Oh yeah, come on in, my menopausal women. Come on in here. Y'all come on in here. Come on in the room. Make sure y'all hear me. Come on in the room. Come on in the room, y'all. Come on, come on, come on. Let's get in here. Let's get in here. I ain't gonna hold up more time because I'm already a few minutes late, but we're gonna go on and get started. But anyway, anyhow, anywho, come on in here. Come on in. Let me get on the right screen. Because y'all know how I am. Y'all know I'm very authentic with y'all. I got new stuff I'm trying to learn how to use, y'all. Y'all know I'm always messing with stuff and changing stuff. Yeah, yeah, that's me. Let me get over here to the right place I'm supposed to be. Okay. All right, there we go. But yes, honey, come on in here, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on. We got this conversation we're gonna talk about. I got two awesome, beautiful queens gonna come up in here. We're gonna have a conversation. Y'all, cause y'all know that's what I like to do anyway. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Well, anyway, tonight we're gonna be having a conversation that is really, really important, y'all. It's necessary, and this came to me because two reasons. One of the reasons somebody had sent it to me to talk about this topic a couple months ago, really. And then a couple of weeks ago, I'm on Facebook as usual, and I came past this flyer about HIV myth. And you look, y'all know I can't hardly talk too now. Y'all know I can't hardly talk myths and truths. That felt like that to me. That was my confirmation that I need to do this. I need to have this conversation. So that was when I reached out to my two beautiful guests that's gonna be coming up here, having a conversation with me about HIV myths and truths, and we're gonna chop it up. Got some questions we're gonna ask, and if anybody got any questions in the put them in the comments, okay? But y'all already know when we're dealing with HIV, it's a lot of misinformation out there too, as well. It's a lot of misinformation out there. Um, but tonight episode is about bringing awareness and bringing education as well. So now another thing, this topic, and y'all know I'm not about trying to make anybody feel bad or ashamed about it. It's not nothing about it. It's not about trying to shame those that has been diagnosed. Nothing like that. It's all about bringing education and awareness. Okay, and of course we have compassion about it as well. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead on and get my guests up here. And y'all know how I am. Y'all know I like to give my guests their flowers. I like to give my guests their flowers. But before we get started tonight, first I want to thank our gold partner, um, Ari Connick. And if I say it wrong, my loves, please forgive me. Our Conic Entertainment LLC. Their document is called Beyond the Diagnosis. Their document is following three Southern women living openly with HIV. Okay? Their stories take us beyond statistics and beyond stigma and into resilience, faith, sisterhood, and the prayer and the power to thrive. Beyond the diagnosis, it is coming November 2026. And it's going to be streamed on, if I say this wrong, forgive me, Jarico, Jarogo, Jarigo, okay? But we're going to be hearing a little bit more about the beyond the doses, beyond the diagnosis, and the our kind of entertainment a little bit later. Okay. So tonight my first guest is, let me get my thing right over here. First guest gonna, well, both of them gonna have to come up because they're not on separate on separate phones. So I'm gonna do my introductions and I'm gonna bring both of them up at the same time. That's the way I do it because I just realized that. Okay, so my first guest I'm gonna introduce. Her name is Chante Devers. If I say that name wrong, please forgive me. Devers. She's a relationship coach, bedroom candy boutique consultant, and the creator of Love Elevated, the Chante Experience. She's a mother, entrepreneur, and advocate for personal growth. She describes her own journey as one of resilience, faith, and transformation. Like many people, she has experienced setbacks, self-doubt, and seasons where she questioned her purpose. But instead, but instead of allowing these moments to define her, she made the decision to grow through them. Today, she helps people understand something that I think is especially important for tonight's conversation. Intimacy begins with the relationship we have with ourselves. She creates safe spaces for conversations about healing, communication, confidence, relationships, personal growth, and breaking unhealthy patterns. Okay? And also who's joining me tonight is Brandy Johnson. Brandy is a breast and cervical cancer survivor. She's an author, advocate, bedroom candy consultant, and a sexologist. She is passionate about helping others and advocating for cancer survivors and thrivers. She has made the decision to use her own journey as a resource for anybody who may need encouragement, information, or simply somebody who understands what it means to walk through a life changing diagnosis. Brandy is also preparing her breast cancer brunch on October the 17th. And we are definitely going to be talking about that, okay? So, without further ado, let me get my queens up here. Y'all help me welcome in Chante and Brandy. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come, y'all, come on in here. I dropped something. I'm sorry. Come on in here, y'all. Come on in here. Thank y'all so much for being in here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, y'all freezing up. I can't hear y'all freezing up some.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Thank y'all so much for being in here. I appreciate it. I really do. I really do. So, anything y'all want to say?
Hello.
Okay.
Thank you
Again,
for the opportunity.
thank you. What you're so much welcome, my love. But before I get to each of you individually, I want both of you to answer this question. When you hear the words HIV stigma, right? What immediately come across your mind?
Fear,
Fear.
a lack
Exactly.
of awareness or education.
Exactly. And I guess that can be for a lot of people when somebody hear the word HIV, that be the first thing, yeah. Especially if you've been diagnosed with it. You see what I'm saying? But if you hear of a relative having it, yes, now it's a whole different thing. Now, fear for them, especially. But that's the but see again, that's the stigma behind it. You see what I'm saying? It's a stigma behind people being diagnosed with that with HIV, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit because it is a stigma. It's a stigma behind it, and that's what we want to do. We want to try to get to a point where it won't be no stigma behind people living with HIV. Okay. Another thing. What do you think? This is for both of y'all. Whoever want to answer. Okay. What do you think? I mean, why do you think some of the fear and misinformation, excuse me, surrounding HIV has survived for so long, right? But even though HIV medicine and our understanding of HIV have changed dramatically, why do you think it still keep lingering on the stigma about HIV?
I would say because people aren't educated, even though it's been here, people don't educate themselves about it.
And see, this is why this conversation need to be had, because it is a part of people don't want to educate themselves, and it's a lot of misinformation out there. This is why these type of conversations need to be had. And I'll be very honest, there are a lot of times when I do talk shows like this, well, it used to, but now they don't bother. They stop, whoever it was, they stopped messing with me. But when I would have a conversation like this, y'all would not believe how many inboxes I would get of them saying, "Why you want to talk about something like that? You don't need to be talking about nothing like that." That was going on because tough topics, and that's what I don't have a problem talking about, but I don't mind getting this information out here and of course educating people, because this is what my platform is about, bringing education. And I thank y'all for coming up here to help me have this conversation. Okay, I thank y'all so much for doing that. So before I go a little bit deeper, right, I want to go deep into relationships and personal journeys, right. I want to talk about, because we said myth versus the truth, right. I want to go into that a little bit. Let me say something, y'all just bear with me, okay. So I want to separate some myths from the truth. One myth is HIV is a death sentence. Truth is, no, it's not. HIV treatment has been transformed, HIV into a manageable chronic, keyword, chronic condition for people who have access to care and remain in treatment. See, what do y'all think about that?
I think that's a true statement because a lot of people may think like having HIV is a death sentence, but when you have medical treatment that is continuous and you're up to date, and you have like an undetectable level or undetectable viral load, then you're pairing that with treatment and you can get a U equals U.
Mm-hmm.
Undetectable equals untransferable. So those
Exactly.
type of things can happen, but it's components to that. One, you are taking the medical necessities necessary. That was the same word redundant. Medical necessities, and you have your viral load is lower. Undetectable viral load. So both of those are components in transferring it. And if you're monitoring those things, then you are less likely to transfer. So U equals U.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Um, Now I can honestly say, but see, this is before, as I got older, I start, because I knew someone that had it, but this is before I knew that they had it. I used to think this right here about it being a death sentence. You see what I'm saying? But it all comes with growing and getting educated behind it. All right, and that's what I had to do. That's what I had to get myself educated. So myth two, you can just look at somebody and just tell they got HIV. Now we know that is definitely not true. And no, you cannot determine nobody's HIV status just by their appearance. You can't do it. Of course, it's all about getting tested, right? Myth three: somebody living with HIV will always transmit HIV sexually. That's a myth. Here's the fact: people who take HIV medications and maintain an undetectable viral load do not sexually transmit HIV. Now I'm gonna read that for the one that's sitting way back in the back, got their mouth all poked out, wondering why I'm talking about this because I want to, and it need to be talked about. I'm gonna say this again. It's a myth that someone living with HIV will always transmit HIV sexually. No. People who take HIV medication and maintain undetectable viral load do not sexually transmit HIV. All right. This is actually known what we just spoke about, the U equals U. This is the principle known as the U equal U. Undetectable equals untransmittable. Do not forget that, y'all. So, but it still boils down to if a person's walking around here knowing their status and they are not doing their medication and keeping their medication up, that's a problem. But as long as you take your medication and do like you're supposed to, you good. So that's a myth about people transferring it through sexual transmission, okay? Myth four, and my last myth. HIV is only, I had to choose this one, y'all, is only a gay man's issue. Woo! HIV is only a gay man's issue. Hmm.
No, ma'am.
That's a myth. Here's the fact: HIV can affect people regardless of race, sex, or sexual orientation. Now, I want that one to say, way back there, still got a mouth poked all out, wonder why I'm still talking. I want you to hear this. HIV still can affect people regardless of age, of race, sex, or sexual orientation. That includes, again, that includes heterosexual men and women. Hello.
It does
That
not
includes.
discriminate against age, race, creed, color, national origin, or marital status. 'Cause
Come
some
on
people
now.
say I'm married, so I can't get it. Not just because they're not with a gay person, but marital status does not keep you from being able to contract the virus as well.
Exactly. Exactly, my
Sorry.
love. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. But what I want y'all to understand is the facts is not about judging anybody's lifestyle, right? It's about trying to help people protect themselves. Trying to help people protect themselves. That's what it's about. It's not about trying to judge nobody's lifestyle. It's about trying to help people protect themselves. Let them know, okay? Let them know. And this is what T.I. say, let them know, okay? Let them know. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. So now when I decide to do this, because whenever I do anything, I always try to look at numbers, okay, and a little statistic. I'm not gonna go too much in it, but this is what I got down here. And I call myself wrote stuff down, y'all. So I scribble some stuff. So if y'all see me squinching, that's what it is, okay? Y'all, I'm just very transparent with y'all. So I wanted to look at HIV and Black America. That yeah, that's what I want to look at. Okay. Um. So my black viewers that is watching this live and that will be come back and watching the replay, I want y'all to hear me. I want you to hear me. All right. And I want you to listen at this. Black Americans make up a much smaller percentage of the U.S. population than the percentage of HIV diagnosis they represent. Did y'all get that? So what that does, that tells us that this conversation cannot only be about individual behavior. It can't. It cannot be about individual behavior, right? So we also got to look at and talk about the healthcare access, poverty, if they got insurance or not, if they got transportation, no, they don't have transportation. And I think a lot of this, when a lot of us, and I don't like using the term African American. That's just me. I don't like. I say us black people. I do not like. That's just me. To each his own. Tomato, tomato. But I like to say us black people. Okay. When we if we get diagnosed or something like that, the first thing if we start looking at, and or once we get diagnosed, they're gonna start asking, okay, now let's see about their health insurance. Do they have health insurance? If you don't have health insurance, you're not gonna get not I talk too fast, not going to go and get treated. All right, that's the issue. Now your poverty level, where you stay, your environment. We look at all of that and we hold that against our own selves instead of saying, you know what, I am diagnosed. Let me go and get what I can get. But a bad thing about it, and I'm gonna say it, a lot of our doctors even look at that as a black person. I'm just gonna put it on out there. And a lot of us black people are don't have access to that good health care like some does, okay? Because I'm just gonna put it on out there. You know for a fact, some of us is not gonna be told, oh yeah, you know where I can go, you know where you can go and get free medical ed at so and so and so on so and so street. They look at all HIV patients. Don't you see? Some of us not gonna be told that. Am I right or wrong? Some of us not gonna be told that.
Right?
So a lot of us don't. And some providers are just not gonna tell you everything. They're just not. They're just not. All right. So as a black woman and a black woman that continue to be disproportionately affected as well. So that's disproportionate. Y'all know I can't talk. Disproportionately affected as well. All right. So the bottom line is, if a black person get diagnosed, that's not only a worry they have to worry about being diagnosed. Now they got to worry about how they're gonna continue to get help. Are they gonna be stereotyped? And again, let's don't forget the stigma behind it. Okay, now they got to figure out that. And some of them again just say, well, I'm not even gonna try to go get no help because they probably ain't gonna help me. That's what I don't want us to be thinking about, y'all. If you're diagnosed, don't worry about, well, they probably ain't gonna try to help me anyway. I'm just gonna go around and just give it to everybody. And you know what? You got people that got that type of mentality too. Let's go there. You got people that got that type of mentality. Well, I ain't gonna get no help. I'm just gonna go on there and spread to everybody else. They're not even educated. And I said that for a reason. I knew somebody that actually did that. Well, I'm dying anyway, so I'm out just going to give it. I said, well, why would you do that? Did y'all hear what I just said? The word that was said to me, the person that said to me, well, I'm dying anyway. See, that because they wasn't educated. They don't even realize they were dying. But they wasn't trying to get any help. That's true story. I know somebody that went through that. I went through that. And that was wrong. So now let's look at briefly testing and having access to care. Let's look at testing. There are three kinds of tests, and I'm just going to give it a then we're going to get to my questions. There are three types of tests that you get, okay? There are actually the major tests that you get. One is called the antibody test. Okay, if anybody heard about it, put your thumbs up. This test looks for antibodies in your immune system, develops in response to HIV. That's the antibody test. The antigen and the antibody test. This test looks for both HIV antibodies and a part of the virus called the P24 antigen. Y'all listen to me. This is nothing to play with. This is nothing to play with. And the third one is called the NAT test. That's, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce what that NAT stand for. Is I'm gonna say no, I'm not gonna try to do it. And I know the other word is acid test, nucleic acid test, but it's called the NAT test. All right. Now this test right here, this test looks directly for the virus in the blood and can be generally detected HIV early than the other test types. Now this is the test. This is where all the this is the test that the doctors really use if they really suspecting you. This is the test right here. They're gonna go ahead on and do on you right here. They really bypass this other thing. You all the other symptoms you showing. This is the test they're gonna go ahead on and just go on and do on you. Okay. Then did y'all know it's actually a home test? Now let me ask y'all this question, and y'all answer this too. If you had access to that test, it's the rapid home test, HIV self test, and it's free at no cost, right? If y'all had a chance to do that and your test came back negative, honestly, would y'all walk around and believe that test because it's a home test? Let's go there. Let's go there. Would y'all believe it? Would y'all believe that is that by that being a home HIV test and it's negative, would you still feel comfortable or not? What y'all think? Talk to me, y'all. Would you be comfortable
Any
knowing it's a home
Whether
test?
it's in the office or at home, I generally think that having, they take multiple tests. Even if you were in a hospital setting, the first test they give, whether it's if it's positive, is not just like saying, "Oh, you have that diagnosis." They actually themselves do further testing as well to truly confirm whether or not you have HIV. So, when I feel comfortable with the at-home test, I would need further testing. I think that it should help me guide me towards what kind of testing.
Right. That's where I would see. That's where I would actually have an issue at by it being a home test. I would be wondering. I mean, if it's negative, but in the back of my mind, I would still just feel some kind of way about it because it's a home test.
Right.
Maybe
And
I'm wrong. I don't know
when
what
you're
y'all.
at
Maybe
a
I'm
home
wrong.
test too, say, I know we're talking about negative and if that's good, but what if it's positive? You don't really have
Exactly.
a community or a thing to really tell you what it is, what goes over it. It's not really giving you any information. So you don't want to just do that and say, "Oh, now I got AIDS," in that same respect too. Because you need someone to talk to. They set you up with different things you need to do after receiving that diagnosis that a home test does not do.
Yeah. Now that will worry me even more if it's a home test and it's positive. Then I be trying to ask myself, is it really true? But it's all about being tested and believing really, to tell you the truth. But I definitely want to make sure that when you go and get tested, that don't mean you're doing something wrong. You're doing something to help yourself, okay? You're doing something to help yourself. I mean, we go and get our cholesterol check, our pap smear check, our mammogram, you're done. Why not go ahead on and know your status? And see, a lot of people is afraid of that. A lot of people, now y'all know me. I can talk about me. I can talk about me. I don't talk about nobody but me. Now I can honestly say about probably about 6 7 years ago, I finally did it. And I'm no lie, I was scared. I just like everybody else, you know. But I finally did it. I just made up my mind. Someone wanted, just gonna know your status. Know your status. I did it. I really
And
did.
don't wait till you think something's wrong. Or don't wait to think that something happened. As she said, with like your pap smear, your mammograms, those are things that you do
Yeah,
yearly just to check. You want to have your HIV tested, something you continuously do, like yearly or annually do, not just if
exactly.
something's wrong, because it can take a couple years to actually show up if you did have it. But by you regularly testing yourself, then you're more aware of your status in real time.
Exactly. Thank you for that, my love. Thank you for that. Now here are my questions. Okay. I'm gonna ask. I want both of you to answer this before we take our break. Okay. When you hear the words, excuse me. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. When you heard the word stigma behind HIV, right? I want to know, what do y'all think? What do y'all think, in y'all perspective, that will be able to help break that stigma? What do y'all think that will really be able to help break that stigma? Y'all own perspective. Everybody got one. Y'all own opinion. Everybody got one. Hey Donna, thank you for being in here.
I would just say people being educated.
That you can see that's breaking the stigma. Okay. All right. And what do you think we can do in our communities to make these conversations about HIV less shameful but more compassionate? What do you think we can do in our own communities to make conversations about HIV less shameful and more compassionate?
For me, again, what she said with the education, because a lot of stigma comes from, I'm a little older. Well, we're the same age, but
Okay.
being when HIV came out, it was, oh, it's a gay man's disease, or a gay
Yes.
person's disease, or oh, you was cheating or being fast, or you slept with
Right.
bad people or promiscuous, or it just the backstory of it when it initially came out leads people to believe that those things are true. But when we had talked about age, race, creed, color, sexual orientation, marital status,
Mhm.
all of those things, it does not discriminate. It's not, oh, because you made bad choices are a part of it, but it's not always that. Because I mean, it's rarely that it happens. But even in the medical field, a needle, say they had an unclean needle or one that wasn't kept right, you can get it that way. Or if you were a child and your parent who didn't take the medical necessities passed it on to you, or things happen where you're raped or anything, so we don't want to make it feel like, oh, you had to do something in order to get something, you know what I'm
That
saying,
part.
negatively. If we could take that out of it and know that anybody is susceptible to getting it, type of
That
thing.
part. That part. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you. So we're gonna take a brief little break. I want to recognize again our gold partner, Oriconic Entertainment, and and I'm going to show their documentary, a little clip of it. Their documentary, Beyond the Diagnosis. This documentary, it follows three Southern women, again living with open HIV, right? Openly living with HIV, and there are Dominique Grant of Jackson, Mississippi, and Dr. Joyce Turner Keller, and Melissa Foster of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. All right, their stories reveal the reality behind the stigma. Okay, beyond the diagnosis, it is coming November 26th. It's gonna be streaming on Jericho. Let's take a look at this video, y'all.
They told me 3 letters would define me. They told me to be quiet, to be ashamed.
HIV is not who I am. It does not define me. It's just something that has to live with me.
What do HIV look like? It look like me. That girl, that pretty young black girl thriving.
The thing I want the world to know about my life is that my life has never been easy. Every ache, every pain, every disappointment, it has been necessary.
HIV is not who I am. It does not define me. It's just something that has to live with me.
My status is not who I am. It does not define me. And when you start living for you and not people, you wake something up on the inside of you. You know who you are. You know whose you are. It doesn't matter what people think or say. You got this because God got you.
All right, did y'all enjoy that? Again,
Yes, beautiful.
wasn't that beautiful? Wasn't that beautiful?
Maybe get you off.
That was, I mean, when I saw it, I'm listening at the beginning, those three words that was going to define her. Did y'all catch that? That was I can't wait to see the full documentary. I cannot wait to see the full documentary. I cannot wait to do that. But again, those are the three. Those are the three ladies that's involved. They're going to be sharing their story again. So you can again watch this in no. It's coming in November 2026, and it's going to be streaming on Jericho Go. Okay. So and welcome back again, y'all. We're going to wrap this up. Um, Let me see how to ask this question. Cause I like to when I do questions, I like to try to see how I can I ask them. All right. So Shantae, I'm gonna come directly to you now because of your work that you're rooted in, right? In relationships, communication, intimacy, and healing, right? And personal growth. When somebody, this is for you, Shantae, when someone is living with HIV, fear or rejection or judgment can allow how they approach dating and intimacy. From a relationship coaching perspective, how can someone begin building the confidence to have those difficult conversations with their partner?
Thank you for the opportunity and bringing this awareness. I think you are awesome, and I love that clip. With someone living with HIV, I think the confidence starts before the conversations with someone else. It starts with the conversation you have with yourself. And where she said a diagnosis does not make you less worthy of love, intimacy, respect, or a healthy relationship. But I also don't want to minimize the fear of disclosure because rejection and stigmas are very real. I would encourage someone to first educate themselves about their diagnosis and treatments so that they're speaking from a place of knowledge instead of fear. I think um, what I want to say. So if you want to have a safe environment, you want to also be able to not just say I want to have those conversations, but you yourself know what boundaries you want with those conversations. So you can first be like, I want to tell you this, but I would like for you to, and just hear me out, don't judge me, type of thing. So have those boundaries set in place around the conversation. And remember that someone else's lack of education about HIV does not determine your value. So
Yes.
though you're educating yourself, you're taking the steps, you're getting the confidence, you're knowing who you are now, and that your diagnosis is not you, two separate entities. That you want to be able to accept the fact that everybody else hadn't been privy to that, and not take it as, oh, now I'm worthless, or take on their misinformation. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Beautiful. Beautifully said. Thank you for that. And Shantae, you believe intimacy begins with the relationship you have with ourselves, right? If somebody has begun seeing themselves differently because of rejection, the stigma, the shame, or a diagnosis, how do they begin rebuilding their relationship with themselves?
So I would say the same thing I said before, but you got to really clearly have that talk with you. One, you have to understand that your AIDS is not HIV is not a death sentence. HIV and AIDS are two separate entities. And well, they're separate in the mannerism that if you do the things we talked about earlier, where you're doing your medical necessities, that you are having a low viral load and things like that, then those things can keep you from progressing to AIDS, which is an advanced form of HIV, and it's manageable. It affects your immune system, type of thing. So I think first you have to know where you are and where you stand with yourself. Then you have to understand that my life may be a little different now, but it's not over. And that
Exactly.
sometimes because of the heaviness of this and a lot of stigma around it, you yourself now become an advocate to make people more aware and knowledgeable about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna lie, like I worked at this job, right? And I did phones, and it's multiple people in the office. I had, we switched offices off and on. A young lady who was a drug user
Yes.
left her uncapped used needle on a desk under some papers. So I don't know her status. I don't know what she do. I don't know what happened.
Exactly.
And I had to then, you know, now I stuck myself with it when I grabbed the papers. That was an opportunity that I could have received HIV, right? Or AIDS or any other disease. So I had to first say, okay, this has happened. And then went to the doctors, and you had to take the necessary things and prep and things like that to make sure that I protected myself. So it may just be a different way that you look at life, but don't ever, you are still valuable. You still deserve love. You just still deserve a relationship. You still deserve all the things. You might have to keep telling yourself that, but you want to educate other people about that as well.
Thank you for that. Wow. And you know what? That could have been really bad. Like you said, that could have been really bad. Like you said, you don't know her status. You see what I'm saying? And she leaving something like that. Ooh wee. Mm. Well,
I'm
thank you for
scared.
sharing that. I
Yes.
appreciate you sharing it because you didn't have to share that. But thank you for I appreciate you doing that. And one more. How important is it for both people in a relationship to take responsibility for conversations around testing, sexual health, boundaries, protection, and intimacy? How important is that?
Love that you asked that. And some people, they put the whole bird on the person. Oh, you knew you had AIDS. Why didn't you say something? Type of expect. But it's a self thing. Like some people say, happiness is not nobody else's responsibility. Your health
Right.
is not anybody else's responsibility. It is, it's a shared responsibility. So I don't believe that we should put it all on a person with the diagnosis because they're the one who brought it up. Or people who say,
Hmm.
oh, let's get tested. So now, oh, I did something wrong because you want to get tested. No, remember, we want to do it regularly, consistently, and that the conversation shouldn't automatically mean somebody's been unfaithful or that we don't trust
Right.
each other. To me, being able to have the conversation is actually part of healthy intimacy. Testing, consent, boundaries, protection, and sexual health education are everybody's responsibility. We should normalize knowing our status instead of assuming somebody else's. So where you said, does it have a look? Oh, she didn't look or he didn't look like they had it. So it was okay for me to have unprotected sex. It is
Hmm.
not. You want to know for yourself. And so you want to have those conversations as well as protect yourself and discuss protections in the future and testing.
Wow.
Thank you.
You welcome, my love. I gotta say I was watching last night on the Golden Girls when it just so happened it was an episode of Rose thought she had HIV through a blood transfusion. I don't know if y'all remember that episode years ago, but of course I saw it last night. I said, "Whoa!" And I would try my best to find my phone to record because I was going to show that little snippet for how they was talking about how she how not Rose. What's the other one there? The older lady.
Hey, no.
Right. How she walking around there um putting initials on stuff for Rose just to use. Here we go to stigma. See what I'm saying? Like that. Don't you know what? Don't use this cup to have an aura on it. That's what she was in the kitchen doing. You see what I'm saying? And then she was wiping doorknobs down and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, this would have been excellent, but I could not find my phone, y'all. But I just had to. I just thought about that when you were saying that. When you were saying what you were saying, I want to talk about it. But it does. But thank you for that. I really do. Miss Brando, I ain't forgot about you, my love. We gonna wrap it up. All right. Your story is different because you've navigated breast and cervical cancer. Okay. Um, But I also want to make it clear that cancer and HIV are completely different medical conditions. But here's the big but behind it. But serious diagnosis can create some of the similar emotional challenges, fear, uncertainty, body image concerns, okay? Intimacy concerns, um, and learning to advocate for yourself, right? Here's my question. As someone who has had, as someone who has had to advocate for yourself through major health challenges, what would you say to someone who is living with HIV or anybody dealing with a serious diagnosis who may be afraid to speak up or advocate for the care and respect they deserve?
Um, I would say if you don't want to speak up, then find somebody that will. Because there's a lot of people, like, I don't know much about AIDS, but I do know for cancer patients, a lot of people don't like to advocate and they don't like to speak up because of whatever reason on their personal side. But for me, I didn't want to speak up either. I only did because it was going to be life or death if I didn't. So if I didn't advocate for myself, I wouldn't be here right now. Um, so that's kind of how I had to look at it is either I'm going to live or die. Um, and so I had no choice. But if you are too scared, then find somebody who will speak for you.
Exactly. I just thought about it on that in that documentary. Do you remember that when it said those three words defined her? Would define her? Question. Um, your cancer diagnosis that did not define you, did it?
It did in the beginning.
Okay.
Um, I
Okay.
feel like it did because I feel like even now people only know me because of cancer. So I feel like in my BK community, I feel like I'm only relevant because I had cancer. So it becomes a part of who I am. I feel like most people see me and they think cancer, and that kind of is bothersome sometimes. So even though it's not defined for me, it's defined for everyone around me because most people don't find value in me without the cancer. So I just have to kind of keep myself in check
Yeah.
and remind myself that I am bigger than cancer. So it's stuff I have to tell myself because if I go
Okay.
off of my friends and family, then all I matter is because of cancer.
That's right. That's
I
right.
have to tell myself that I matter to me and me alone.
Woo! That's a bell ringing moment. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, as a sexologist, Brandy, and a cancer survivor, how can a serious health diagnosis affect confidence, sexuality, body image, and intimacy? How can a serious health diagnosis affect that?
For me, it's everything. It's the diagnosis, it's being told you have cancer, or having a serious diagnosis because most of the people you can look around, everybody that you normally hug and love on, your family, your friends, they all gonna disappear. Ain't nobody gonna be there but you. And so it changes who you are because you then begin to look at your scars. You begin looking at the things that have changed about you. Like for me, I'm scarred up from head to toe out of all these surgeries. And most people gasp or there might be grossed out. But this is my everyday body now. So
Right.
I have to turn it into I had to do my own pleasure mapping. And basically, what that entails is basically you and you
Yes.
looking in the mirror, and really being naked, completely naked. Let's just be honest,
Yes, that's right.
and really knowing your body because even once you start pleasure mapping and understanding pleasure mapping is touching yourself and finding ways that you find pleasure through yourself.
Exactly.
And when you do that, if you really truly know yourself, you'll know if there's a lump and you might have breast cancer. You'll know if something's off because you
That's
are
right.
very well aware of your body. But doing pleasure mapping will also allow you, if you combine that with positive affirmations every single time, slowly but surely, you will start to view yourself and view those scars and view those lumps and bumps and those fat rolls and everything else that
Yes,
you might
honey.
think is disgusting. And you will begin to tell yourself after saying it so much and over again, you'll start to believe it. It's just kind of like that movie back in the day when she was like, you is kind, you is important, you is beautiful. You say those things to yourself until you believe it, and then you say it until you know it, and then you say it until it is who you are.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, was there a point during your journey when you realized this diagnosis is part of my story, but it is not all of who I am?
Um, no, because even though it's not like my children are a huge part of who I am,
Okay.
but now my advocacy and my passion for those who are in breast cancer or any type of cancer diagnosis is who I am. That's my purpose. And my purpose is bigger than me. So I feel like it became my story and my purpose together because I had to go through cancer in a way that I don't wish upon anybody else. And so knowing how I had to face cancer, it became who I am because I want to make sure that if I can, I will not let anybody go through cancer alone. I don't want anybody to feel how I felt. And if I can prevent that, even in one person, then I feel like my story matters.
Thank you. Thank you. Miss Shante, what was the turning point that made you realize healing and self awareness were more important than perfection?
Um, I don't think it was one dramatic moment for me. It was realizing how exhausting perfection was. I couldn't learn all the right things. I mean, I could learn the right things, the books, hear advice, and know exactly what I was supposed to do, and still find myself failing back to old patterns. The turning point is when I stopped asking, why am I still messing up? And started asking, what is this trying to teach me?
Wow.
That's where self-awareness changed things for me. Healing didn't mean I would never struggle again. Growth doesn't mean I would never make another mistake. It
Mm-hmm.
meant I could recognize the pattern sooner, take accountability, and give myself grace, and make a different choice and not stay stuck as so long. I
Mm.
stopped measuring my growth by perfection and started measuring it by how I responded when I recognized I was out of alignment. I'm still
Wow.
doing the work, honestly. I think it's really important to say that because I'm not there yet. I know
Mm-hmm.
the plan
Mm-hmm.
and I'm now u- using the formula to say. And
Right.
hitting it is not a destination where you suddenly have everything figured out. It's continuing to become more aware and choosing differently when you know differently.
Right. And now that's the thing. If you don't, as they say, you don't know no better, you can't do better. If you don't know no better, you can't do better. Thank you for that, my love. Brandy, before we wrap it up, okay? I wanna talk about your breast cancer brunch that's coming up. Tell us about it.
So it's gonna be October 17th in Lansing, Michigan. And it's just going to be a brunch. We have a couple people coming. I have a speaker that's going to talk about her journey through her current journey with the cancer. I do have another speaker that's going to deliver a word. And I'm just super excited to give back.
What inspired you to do that?
Because I
And
had
what you
cancer.
want? And what you want people? What inspired you to do that? And what do you want people to receive out of it?
For me, I'm doing it for, I want to start a foundation.
Okay,
So it will be the first of many.
there we go. Okay, that's good. That's good. And last question, Shantae. What advice would you give someone who keeps repeating the same patterns, but genuinely they really want to change?
First, I would tell them to stop confusing awareness with failure. If you can recognize that you are repeating a pattern, you are already in a different place than when you started.
There we go.
But awareness alone isn't enough. At some point, we have to turn what we know into an action. And I want you to ask yourself, what triggered this pattern? What
Mm-hmm.
am I getting from it? What am I avoiding? And what can I do differently the next time that I'm triggered or that trigger shows up? Then make a new choice, small enough that you can actually practice it. Because sometimes we think change happens with this big transformation overnight. It doesn't. Sometimes growth is simply catching yourself sooner. Maybe you use to stay stuck for 6 months. Then it becomes 6 weeks, then 6 days, and eventually you recognize the pattern before you even act on it. And that's progress. Give yourself grace, but don't use the grace as permission to stay the same. Give yourself enough grace to keep doing the work.
Thank you for that. Now, this question is for both of y'all. If somebody's watching tonight and is struggling with shame, fear, rejection, concerns about intimacy, difficult or a difficult diagnosis, what is one thing you would want that person to hear before we close? If somebody is struggling with shame, fear, rejection, and concerns about intimacy or a difficult diagnosis, what is one thing you would want that person to hear before we close?
I don't want them to hear that they need a community with people who
Mm.
are in a different mind space, who maybe dealt with it, who's going through it, a positive environment that is educated, changing your environment for me.
Um,
Mm.
A safe environment, finding a safe environment. Sorry.
Finding the
and
safe. Okay, go ahead on. I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. For me, I would say, don't expect you from any out of anyone. Just focus on you, focus on your diagnosis, educate yourself, and do your research. Don't just settle with one treatment plan. Get a second opinion. Make sure that that everything is in alignment.
Thank you for that.
And they
So,
love.
yes. So I appreciate you. I really, Shantae and Brandon, I really thank y'all both for coming in here and having this conversation with me tonight. I really do. Because this is a difficult and tough topic to talk about. Because some people are still ashamed to even talk about it or don't want to talk about. But y'all chose to come up here with me and do it and have this conversation. This is just part one of a part two series that I'm having. Okay, and if anyone that's watching, I want y'all to make sure you leave and take away with this episode is people y'all deserve accurate information, deserve definitely make sure you be tested, okay? And also access to health care just like anybody else. Deserve that, okay? And also you deserve to be loved and be able to live your life without any stigma, anything. All right? Now, with that being said, remember awareness, education, compassion, and action. Together we can end this stigma behind HIV, y'all. And it's been going on for so long. It really has. And once again, thank you to our gold partner, Organic Arconic Entertainment. And told y'all, if I mess your name up, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean no harm if I mess your name up. I really appreciate it. Um, and they did the documentary of Beyond the Diagnosis. This documentary is coming November 2026 and it's going to be streamed on Corigo, okay?
Tell
But
them
but
that.
but kings and queens, I want y'all to remember know your status, educate yourself, right? And especially love yourself. Even when you do get your diagnosis of that or whatever, still love yourself. I'm going to close it out with this documentary showing, and we're going to end it. Thank y'all so much for coming. I love y'all. Y'all share this out. Y'all sprinkle this out and get ready for part two.
They told me 3 letters would define me. They told me to be quiet, to be ashamed.
HIV is not who I am. It does not define me. It's just something that has to live with me.
What do HIV look like? It look like me. That girl, that pretty young black girl thriving.
The thing I want the world to know about my life is that my life has never been easy. Every ache, every pain, every disappointment, it has been necessary.
HIV is not who I am. It does not define me. It's just something that has to live with me.
My status is not who I am. It does not define me. And when you start living for you and not people, you wake something up on the inside of you. You know who you are. You know whose you are. It doesn't matter what people think or say. You got this, because God got you. You got this, because God got you.